Toyota currently sells 11 separate off-road nameplates worldwide. This is not one of them. 2 leaked internal documents call it the Graviton 8x8. Nobody at Toyota has confirmed it exists. Nobody has denied it either. And according to the timestamps on those leaked files, the same test mule has logged over 40,000 miles without a single public sighting. Before we get into the part that actually broke cover in these leaked test photos, comment your guess on how many of these 8 wheels are independently driven. I'll give you the real number in a minute, and it's not the one most people assume. Start with the stance. Front to rear, the test mule measures 24 feet 8 inches, riding on 4 separate axle housings instead of the usual 2. Each corner carries a 44-inch run-flat tire wrapped around a portal hub that reportedly shares its casting with Toyota's discontinued Mega Cruiser program from the 1990s. Just doubled in count across the chassis. Ground clearance sits at 22.4 inches unladen. The front and rear axle pairs steer independently at low speed, which in the leaked test footage lets the whole truck crab sideways at roughly 15 degrees without the body rotating at all. The bodywork itself carries 0 exterior badging in any of the leaked frames. No chrome, no lettering, not even a fuel cap marking, and the only paint on the entire shell is a single flat coat that test engineers refer to in the leaked memo as compound gray, a color that reportedly doesn't exist on any current Toyota order sheet. One honest observation: in every leaked departure angle photo, the rear 2 axles sit close enough together that there's almost no daylight between the last 2 tires, and that alone tells you this wasn't built for looking clean in a parking lot. It was built for a specific angle of rock nobody's shown yet. But none of that explains the part of this truck nobody's talking about yet: what's happening under the floor pan. Under that floor sits a twin turbocharged 5.7-liter diesel paired to a 288-volt buffer battery, making a claimed 620 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque numbers, normally reserved for something half this weight. 0 to 60 comes in at 8.9 seconds, according to the same leaked test sheet, on a truck that weighs 14,200 pounds empty. A front and rear winch, each rated to 30,000 pounds, sit recessed into the bumper castings, and the approach angle reportedly measures 52 degrees against a 49-degree departure. Suspension travel at each corner is logged at 14.2 inches in the leaked engineering notes, with a hydraulic crosslink between the front and rear axle pairs that reportedly lets the chassis walk over a ledge without the opposite corner losing contact. Here's the honest critique. Nobody at Toyota has published a single dyno chart to back the horsepower number, and until they do, treat it the way you'd treat any unconfirmed test sheet reel. Maybe, but unverified. What is confirmed, or as confirmed as a program this quiet gets, is the rarity. Fewer than 60 of these mules are believed to exist on the planet right now, and internal sourcing puts the number that will ever leave Toyota's own test program at under 40. Step inside, or as close as any of the leaked cabin photos let you get, and the driver's seat isn't bolted to the main chassis at all. It's suspended on a secondary subframe, isolated from the axles by 4 hydraulic mounts, so the cabin barely registers what the wheels are doing 18 inches below it. The dash reportedly runs a single 14-inch strip display instead of dials, and the second row bench folds flat into a sleeping platform rated for 2 people across a 96-hour deployment without resupply. Door panels in the leaked interior still show a second layer of foam packed behind the standard trim, which the internal notes attribute to acoustic dampening rather than crash structure, and the floor itself is a single sealed composite pan with no visible seam where the 8 wheels hydraulics pass through. Looking at this, it feels like Toyota built a command capsule for a world that hasn't needed one yet. Now stop for a second, because none of this explains why a company that sells Corollas is building something that drives like it was designed for a border crossing that doesn't officially exist yet. That's the part worth sitting with. Here's the detail almost nobody caught in the leaked spec sheet. The terrain mapping radar mounted above the windshield reportedly shares a parts number with the system Toyota's Gazoo Racing division uses to pre-scan Dakar stages before a car ever touches the sand. If that's accurate, this truck can build a live elevation map of ground it hasn't crossed yet. A mesh network unit under the rear hatch reportedly keeps a signal between up to 6 vehicles with 0 cell coverage. Rooftop solar cells trickle feed the 288-volt buffer overnight, and the chassis is rated to wade through 4.1 feet of water without a snorkel. A forward-facing thermal camera tucked behind the upper grille slats in every leaked front 3/4 photo reportedly feeds the same strip display the driver uses for the terrain radar, layering heat signatures over elevation data in a single feed. None of this is production confirmed. Toyota has not issued a statement, a press kit, or a single official image. Everything here comes from test track leaks and internal document scans, so treat every number as a rumor until Toyota says otherwise. But if even half of this is real, there's one more question worth asking. What does a truck like this actually cost? Nobody at Toyota has released a price, official or otherwise. But sourcing close to the program puts a fully equipped Graviton somewhere north of $190,000, which, for context, is more than the price of 2 fully loaded Land Cruiser 300 series units combined. That's not a vehicle built for a driveway. That's a vehicle built for an embassy fleet, a disaster response contract, or a private buyer who needs to cross terrain that doesn't have a road on it yet. And every leaked allocation memo so far lists exactly 0 of these units going through a standard retail order process. If that's you, or if you're just here for the moment Toyota finally admits this thing is real, tell me below who you think actually gets to own one of these. An oil company? A government? Or nobody at all? So here's the reveal. As much of one as a program this quiet allows, the Graviton 8x8 isn't a concept render, and it isn't vaporware either. It's a physical test mule, photographed on a physical test track, carrying a chassis number that traces back to a real Toyota engineering just done, one that has never once put this program on record, and one whose name doesn't appear on a single public organizational chart Toyota has released in the last decade. The verdict: this is the physical evidence obsession Toyota has spent 11 months trying to keep off camera. And the fact that it's failed is the only reason we're talking about it at all. Fewer than 60 exist today, and if the leaked allocation list is accurate, government contracts and embassy fleets have already claimed most of the 40 units Toyota is releasing outside its own test program. Maybe that's the whole point of the obsession in the first place, building something so rare that most people will only ever see it in a leaked photo exactly like this one. Close it out. Toyota didn't confirm this. Toyota hasn't denied it either. No badge, no VIN plate photo, and no engineer's name attached to a single leaked document has ever been matched to a public LinkedIn profile, a patent filing, or a supplier invoice, which is, I should say, the most disciplined information lockdown in the company's history, or proof that this program is smaller and further from production than the leaks suggest. And until they do, every number in this video stays exactly what it started as, unconfirmed, sourced from the compound outside Higashi Fuji, and disappearing back behind that fence the second this video goes up. Comment the one spec in this video you don't believe. I'll pull the receipts in the next one, because next week we're going back to that same test compound for the vehicle Toyota is reportedly building to replace this one entirely. And that one might be even harder to keep hidden.